You know, when you think of Les Misérables, what comes to mind? Probably this epic tale of revolution, right? All that drama, love, and survival in 19th century France. And you're not wrong. But what if I told you there's something much, much deeper going on? Today, we're going to peel back those layers and get to the real heart of the story, a profound spiritual battle that changes everything.
And it all comes down to this one incredible line, sung by Jean Valjean right near the end of his life. To love another person is to see the face of God. Wow. I mean, it's just so beautiful, isn't it? It feels like the perfect summary of his entire, incredibly difficult journey.
But here's the thing. What if that's not just a nice, poetic way to end the story? What if that single sentence is the key to unlocking the whole thing? I mean, what if every single part of this epic tale, every single chase, every heartbreaking sacrifice, every moment of love is all there for one reason? To show us exactly what those words mean.
Okay, so to get there, we have to understand that what we're watching isn't just a fight on the streets of Paris. No, it's something way bigger. It's a battle for the human soul, and it's being fought between two massive, opposing ideas.
So here are our two fighters. In one corner, you've got grace. This is all about forgiveness you don't have to earn, about mercy, about getting a second chance, a totally new life. And in the other corner, you have the law. This is pure black and white justice, punishment, condemnation. There are no second chances here. This is the central conflict, the spiritual war that drives everything in the story.
All right, so let's look at our champion for Team Grace. Of course, it's our hero, Jean Valjean. His entire life, his whole story is basically a giant case study in how mercy can take a person and completely rebuild them from the ground up.
And it all kicks off with a single act of kindness that he absolutely did not deserve. Remember when Valjean gets out of prison? He's a shell of a man, hardened, bitter, completely defined by that one crime of stealing a loaf of bread. Society wants nothing to do with him. He has every single reason to just hate the world. And then he stumbles into the life of the bishop.
So what happens? Valjean repays the bishop's kindness by stealing his silver. He gets caught, of course. And by the letter of the law, that's it. Game over. He's going back to prison, probably for life. But that's not what happens. The bishop, instead of condemning him, gives him even more silver, the valuable candlesticks, and tells the police it was all a gift. Can you imagine? This moment of pure, unearned grace just shatters Valjean's entire understanding of the world. It gives him a choice, and he takes it. He rips up that yellow passport, that piece of paper that says he's a criminal forever, and he uses this second chance to become a completely new person, the kind, charitable Mayor Madeleine.
But of course, for every force, there's an equal and opposite one, right? And the unbending, absolutely merciless force of the law, well, it has a name. And that name is Inspector Javert.
To really get Javert, you have to climb inside his head. For him, the world is simple. It's black and it's white. Justice is absolute, period. If you break the law, you are a criminal. That's not just what you did, it's who you are. Forever. The idea of redemption, a second chance, it doesn't even compute. So his entire life's purpose becomes hunting Valjean. Because in Javert's world, there is no way, absolutely no way, a thief can ever truly become an honest man.
So for years, these two forces, these two men, just circle each other like planets in orbit. Valjean living on grace, and Javert hunting him with the cold, hard letter of the law. And then, at the story's climax, they have a collision course. And this moment is going to change absolutely everything. It all happens at the barricade during the student uprising. The tables are completely turned. Javert, the hunter, is now the hunted. He's been caught spying on the revolutionaries, and they're going to execute him. And guess who gets handed the gun to do the job? Yep, Jean Valjean.
I mean, just pause and think about that for a second. This is it. This is the man who has made his life a living hell for decades. The man who threatened his freedom, his new identity, even his beloved daughter, Cosette. He has every reason in the world to pull that trigger. You could even say the law of an eye for an eye pretty much demands it. So, what does he do?
He gives them the one thing that Javert's mind is completely incapable of processing: forgiveness. Instead of putting a bullet in him, Valjean takes out a knife, cuts his bonds, and tells him to run. He passes on the exact same gift he received from the bishop all those years ago: pure, unearned, undeserved mercy. And for Javert, this just breaks him. It's like a computer trying to divide by zero. His entire system just short-circuits.
You see, a world where grace is real is a world where Javert simply cannot exist. His whole life is built on a rigid, unbending system, and that system has no file folder for forgiveness. If a criminal like Valjean can be merciful, if a sinner can actually be redeemed, then Javert's whole black and white world was a lie from the start. And he can't live with that. He can't reconcile these two opposing realities, so his entire worldview crumbles and he takes his own life.
Now, this powerful theme of grace isn't just about the epic showdown between Valjean and Javert. Not at all. We see it echoing everywhere, especially in the selfless, sacrificial acts of love from other characters.
I mean, just think about Fantine. She literally sells everything she has, her hair, her teeth, her body, and eventually her life, all for her daughter, Cosette. And then there's Éponine. Oh, Éponine. She dies taking a bullet from Marius, the man she's hopelessly in love with, even though she knows he'll never love her back. These aren't just tragic stories. They're showing us what this graceful love really is. It's not about what you get. It's about what you are willing to give.
So, where does that leave us? After all that pain, all that struggle, all the, well, misery, what's the final verdict? Which side wins this battle for the soul? The story makes it crystal clear. Grace wins. Hands down.
And you can see it right here when you just look at where everyone ends up. Jean Valjean, who chose the path of grace and forgiveness, what does he get? Redemption and finally peace. Javert, who was the agent of law without any mercy, finds nothing but total collapse and death. And then you have Cosette, who was raised in the light of Valjean's grace. She becomes the embodiment of hope, starting a new life built on love.
The final message is just so powerful and so clear. A world built only on rigid laws and punishment will always end in despair and death. It just destroys itself. But a life or a world built on grace, on mercy and forgiveness and sacrificial love, that is what leads to real hope, to a new life.
And that brings us right back to that beautiful line from the beginning. So how do we see the face of God? Valjean's last words aren't just pretty poetry. They are the answer. They are the entire point of the story. The path isn't about perfectly following every rule. It's not about being Javert. It's about the difficult, messy, beautiful, and life-changing act of truly loving another person, of showing them grace they don't deserve. That is redemption. That is how, in the world of Les Misérables, you get to see the face of God.